Hi guys,
Hello,
I'm Carly,
I'm Dallas.
and welcome to Shut the Smut Up. We did it!
Anyways, so on today's episode 2, we're going to talk about Sarah J. Maas's new book, House of Flame and Shadow.
I loved it.
I'm indecisive on it.
I still loved it.
I did love it, but I'm indecisive at the same time.
I feel like I had to stew on this for quite a while. I felt like I needed to let it sink in and think about all of the things. And I can't decide if TikTok made it so that I changed my rating. I don't know. I decided to give it a 4.75.
And I gave it a 4.5. And I think I stewed on it too, onto the rating, because of the hype that I was wanting for this book.
It had a lot of hype. There were so many theories.
And then, like you said, with TikTok,
TikTok's hard.
TikTok can be a negative place sometimes, and then it can be a very positive, uplifting.
Yes, I agree.
It depends on the book. But anyways, we are here in our Starborn sweaters made by Carly herself.
Me.
To talk about this book. So,
okay. I'll just start us off here.
Go right ahead.
What was your favorite part in the whole book, if you could pick?
That's a hard one. I don't know.
Or like a couple just things that you liked.
Right off the bat, I am a hardcore Prithian girly. Hardcore, so knowing Bryce was in Prithian was just like the topper to my cake, right?
Yeah, it was good.
So obviously that was a really good part for me. And then I don't know. I really haven't given a lot of thought to this book, to be quite honest now. Talk about it.
That's okay. I feel like that was my favorite bonus chapter, and we'll go back to that, but like when she's in Prithian in the caves. But hi, Roof. Hey. I feel like my favorite part was when Bryce goes to Avalon and the caves match the caves in Prithian. And I feel like I don't know, it was just like such build up, and I like love when Bryce is all like when Hunt's kind of annoyed with her and she just like jumps in the water again, and then they go down and they find the black salt and they communicate
with Hell.
Yeah, with Hell.
I guess that is another. I would consider that being another part of her reaching out to Hell.
Yeah, so I loved that part, but I really loved when like the Autumn King showed up and Morven. And that whole scene when they like wake him up, and I felt bad because poor Hunt has just gone through the ringer. Because remember, to wake him up, they're like burning him.
Yeah. Oof.
But just like I love that whole scene. I felt like it was like a good closing chapter to like that Bryce and Rune were able to kill the Autumn King. Like, I just loved that whole situation. There were so many good parts, but I felt like, to me, I was more excited in that than I was like the big battle, because I don't feel like there really was a big battle.
Correct. And I do think there was a lot of closure with Bryce and Rune with their father.
Yeah. I was like, finally.
Oh, for sure, 100%. The motherfucker needed to die.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Like, I wish we knew a little bit more information about him.
More of a backstory, like him and Ember.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah, that would have been a cool bonus chapter.
But on to like where you were talking about like the battle and stuff, I did really feel like this book was kind anticlimactic, like hardcore.
Yes. I was disappointed a little bit in the battle scene too, just for the sheer fact that, and I wrote like some notes on this just periodically while I was thinking, but like we know that SJM knows how to do war and battle scenes, and I feel like Kingdom of Ash is like the best example of that. She knows how to kill characters off, she knows how to write fight scenes and then like have inner monologue and all that stuff, and I just felt like it fell a little short. She fell
flat on this hardcore.
I still loved the book. I still loved the book as a whole.
The Steri are supposed to be these big and almighty, powerful beings, and the battle against them, like it was
so fast.
Yeah, with the
one Asteri. Okay, so Regulus.
Regulus, yep. It like there was no battle like I mean, yeah, Bryce was winnowing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like, where was his power? Where was this battle that I was ready for and I just didn't get?
Yeah, I agree. But do you remember when we were Snapchatting and talking about this, and we were both like saying that like a random Asteri was killed in the background, and we like so like Bryce kills that first
Oh, yeah,
Asteri,
yeah.
and then it was like a random one was killed, and it's like who killed them? Because I thought she could only use Truth Teller, and I mean in Prithian they call it Gwydion, but the Star Sword, what is it called?
Yeah, it's the Star
Star
Sword.
Sword,
Yeah.
what? Star Sword. But like I felt like that to me. I was like I want it like who I don't know who did it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's not a lot of talk of like how
That
you
whole
can
really
kill a steri besides of what you find out. You know what I mean?
from Bryce, like and from
But going back to when Bryce was in Prithian with um, Vesper, was it
Vesperus.
Vesperus?
I
Yeah.
think that's her name.
When
We probably
we
should.
don't is she an Asteri?
Okay,
The blood
so
is different. She had black blood.
yeah,
Where the
I
Asteri had the red blood.
so I Throne of Glass is my all-time favorite SJM series, and I don't like deep dive into things, but I remember like talking to you about this when I was reading those, and like the whole Maeve thing and being Valg and all this stuff, and they talk about world walking and all this stuff. So I was like, what if she's Valg?
Yeah, what if
Like,
she's another Val?
yeah, because if you think about it, when they talked about how when Vesperus came out of like the coffin, it was like the spider like
Yeah, she was Spider.
yeah, as she like climbed out, and then they said that like that was it like didn't she have like red lips?
Yep, just like Maeve.
Yeah, just like Maeve.
A lot of the description was of like Maeve and her being a Val Queen. And then when she got stabbed and like decapitated by Nesta, she had black blood.
Yes.
But then
But Regulus
had the red blood, and so did the Asteri that Bryce killed right off the bat.
Yep.
So it was all red blood. So we don't know really what can kill an Asteri because she ends up then sucking them all into the void, basically.
I feel like that part got me super excited for what's to come in the next like ACOTAR book. Like I want to see what Nesta's gonna do, how everybody in Prithian's going to handle all of that. I mean, not to get too excited because I think sometimes books can't live up to all the hype that we give it, but I felt like the way the book ended with Bryce going, I mean, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but with Bryce like giving like I guess I'm gonna say because they call it Gwydion back, and like
and Truth Teller.
Yeah, and Truth Teller, and like I also get super excited because if you think about it, Elaine was able to use Truth Teller, Bryce was able to, and Nesta was. But like, was Azrael? Did he actually? Because Vesper said like you don't even know what this, like you don't even. I can't remember exactly what she says. Something along the lines that like you whatever the heck like
yeah, you don't even know it's like
yeah like you don't even have the full grasp of like what this could do. And I was like, shut the hell up.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess going on to there now, it was a real big surprise with we're gonna skip into Nesta and Prithian.
I get excited. Yeah, I'm like we'll just skip, it's fine.
So the one thing that did shock was when Bryce opened that portal.
The north, like in the Northern Rift. I did not see that coming.
Back to Bryce, and I didn't either. What I would have thought of Nesta being in a story was Nesta coming back to Midgard when Bryce came back, right?
Yes.
Like I was thinking that was going to happen. Not that she was going to open a portal and that Nesta was going to give her the mask.
Right.
And also
for Nesta to
shove her family in there.
Ember and Randall in there. I was like,
yeah.
Bryce!
So Bryce, I wish we had more time with Bryce and Nesta because obviously you could see some kind of like a relationship that could be
They
there.
wanted to be friends.
And
like
it shows how much Nesta's grown though too.
I know. It was so good. I did want a little bit more interaction, but also it's Crescent City. It's not
ACOTAR.
Yes.
Correct.
You know.
So getting the mask and bringing it into Midgard, I thought that was a really interesting play. And I love that Bryce is the fourth trove. She's the horn, right?
Yes.
So the mask affects her differently. It doesn't affect her like it does with Nesta. Because Bryce has a trove. She is a trove. She has the horn.
Well, that was like down in the caves when Az was like, "You like Cassian's waiting for you. Like you need to come back." And Bryce puts it on, and it like barely even.
Yeah, she can just take it right off. It doesn't take over. So that was really interesting.
Yes. Oh, side note, jump back to like Autumn King stuff. Did you know when she went back and okay, so first off, they're going through the caves, right? And I'm gonna bounce around a little bit. When Bryce like is wiping her blood on the walls and the Midgard worm comes back, yep. And I was like, oh my god, Bryce, what are you doing? Like, yes, that whole scene, I loved it. If you've read it, you know it's freaking awesome. But when she like leaves and she like portals into the Autumn King's house, and like at the start of the scene, you don't think that she meant to go there, but then you learn that she actually did.
It was her plan.
She shoves him in the closet, and I was like, "Stop! Why is that so funny?"
Yep, she's a lot more planning, and I did see her something about like how Bryce in this book, she did keep a lot of her plans a secret.
Yes,
and that's not.
A lot of people were upset about that because they said that she was trying to be like kind of like Aelin.
Correct. When we know that Bryce is kind of more open and she just
kind of flies by the seat of her pants, but also
she
like
goes with the flow. She's just like quick. Yeah. So,
I don't know how I felt about that. I feel like Bryce is her own person, but I also felt like she was a little bit different in this book. But it's also like a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on somebody. And I know a lot of people were upset with the way that like she treated Hunt.
But,
how did you feel about that?
Hunt was a bitch, though.
I mean, he did just get tortured. So I
mean, he's been through worse, though.
Oh, you know what just popped into my head? When they're talking to the Princess of Hell, and they basically tell him that he had the power all along.
Yeah, like I said, to
break the slave band around it. What do they call it? The slave.
Yeah, the slave, or I don't know.
Whatever the heck it is around his head, and obviously, I'm like,
we're not very like familiar with words.
It's fine. I get excited, like I have too much to say, and I can't get it all out because I just there's shit. SJM, just everything in the book. You have to freaking pay attention to everything. Okay, sorry. A little hassle with the dogs there. Happens from time to time.
Anyways, we were talking about like how he has the true power, which means that, I mean, obviously he's a prince of hell.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That was like, did you see that coming?
No.
When they said the power, like that he got the power from both, wasn't it Thanatos and...
Yeah, and Aurelius.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, you have two daddies.
Yeah. That was interesting. I thought he was, obviously we knew that there was theories about his origin, right? Yeah. And his power because of Tyr and everything.
Some of those fan theories got me nervous as hell.
Or Odin and stuff. So yeah. There was just a lot of stuff, and it was just interesting interacting with the Princes of Hell, because obviously we only ever had to interact with Adius.
They were frustrated, and I felt like I could feel that frustration because they were like, why didn't you tell us before now?
Yeah.
Like, I felt like they just, like, didn't.
But then again, they weren't ready. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to fix that. Dogs were moving everything around.
But they weren't ready to know, and then...
But that just, like, to me was so heartbreaking.
But it's then, I don't know, Thanatos is the one that's more like the death god or whatever, right? Yeah. Did he even go back?
I don't know.
It never mentioned that he went back when the rift got opened.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Because Bryce opened the rift, right? And
I don't think I noticed that.
The three princes stepped out. It was never mentioned that he went back.
Okay, I'll have to go back and look in that. I'm not like a deep diver into book. I feel like sometimes I end up getting on TikTok and like all these theories that people do just get my mind working overtime. Like, did you see the one that has to do in Akawar when they mentioned Thanatos under the mountain? Like, Mor's dad, like, he's having issues with his daughter or whatever. Yeah. And then they're talking about how, and then, like, this lady, I can't remember who it is, but this lady looked it up, and it was like, what does this name mean or whatever? Because it's the daughter of Thanatos, and it literally means a fury. It means fury. And I was like, So then the chick in the video was like, okay, well, I guess we know where Fury has been. And I was like,
well, there's a lot of rumors that Theory has already
yeah.
been in a lot of the books before. I mean,
Yeah.
so
I thought she was going to play a bigger role. I'm not going to lie. Because they talked to
Baxian.
Yeah, and Baxian. Because they're these, like, huge, supposed to be, like, amazing warriors, and they weren't even in, like, I mean,
Baxian got tortured with Hunt and Rune. But
he also, like, he stayed on Avalon.
Correct, yeah.
I mean, which I guess I would listen to Baxian, too, but...
Yeah, to protect it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I just was surprised that, like, I don't know.
It was just anticlimactic, unfortunately. This entire book was. Love SJM. But it was just. And for SJM to say that she wrote it in a month. Right?
See, I didn't know that until you you told me that.
Like, this took you a month, but it took you, like, 2 years to release. I don't know. I just felt like
because didn't she scrap the first one?
Correct. She scrapped the first draft.
She could have big bucks.
It could have been different, and it should have been, and we just didn't get the battle we wanted.
Yes.
Anticlimactic.
I feel like, in my opinion, I wish that this would have been drug out over 2 books. Like, it's called House of Flame and Shadow. I feel like it could have been House of Many Waters.
Agreed.
I feel like it genuinely could have.
But then there was 50% of it that could be, and then. Because, I mean, Jessica and then Ethan going to the House of Flame and Shadow and Hypaxia.
How did you feel about Ethan and Therion in this book?
Ugh.
They made so many weird decisions.
Just so many chapters of them.
I think the next book's going to be a lot about them. And, like, is it Aradni? Is the dragon?
Aradnia.
All that stuff. Aradnia. All that stuff. I feel like she's setting that up for the next one.
Yeah, the way that she ended it, where... Therion is looking for his wife now.
Which is
Ari
Flynn's sister.
Which is Flynn's sister, correct. So I don't know. There's just... You guys will probably get other videos of us talking about these books, but...
I did really like it as a whole. I thought it was great. I just wish it would have been into 2 separate books. But this book literally could have been like way longer and I still would have read it. Everybody would have read it. I just wanted a bigger battle scene. I just wanted a bigger battle scene and like more of a build up. And I also do feel like, I mean, am I sad that Bryce didn't die? No, I'm glad. Well, I mean, I guess technically she did and then she came back.
But Sarah J. Maas never kills main characters though.
Yeah, I mean, Throne of Glass is pretty emotional though.
Oh yeah,
but I'm also, but like, really, nobody died.
Correct. No, she never gets rid of any of her main characters ever. Nobody in ACOTAR, nobody really in Throne of Glass.
I would have been devastated though, still. But I also I saw one people talking about they wanted her sacrifice to be worth something. It would have just made it so much more.
Agreed.
I don't know how I feel about that, but that was something I heard said.
It would have been nice. I love Bryce though.
I know. So. I love Bryce too. And it's all the shit that they went through, you just want them to have kind of a happily ever after. But I wanted more emotion. And part of me wonders if she got excited and was really looking forward to working on this stuff, the new ACOTAR book. And maybe that's why she just felt like she was done kind of with this story a little bit and was ready to move on.
It's a good possibility.
Maybe. I don't know.
It is a good possibility.
I still loved it.
Yeah, we got off track, obviously, what we were going to do with notes and stuff. But, I mean, the book was good. I mean, Sarah J. Maas, she disappoints, but she doesn't at the same time. Do I say that this is probably one of my least favorite books from her? I would put it down in that category, yes.
I feel like I have to reread everything.
I mean, even though I love everything by her, and I like this book, I would say this is one of the least ones, Tower of Dawn, for me.
Okay. See, I liked Tower of Dawn. I think I enjoyed this book a little bit more. Now, here's my question for you. Do you feel because there was some spoilers released ahead of time that you were disappointed? Or do you think just as a fandom, people just build things up so high that it's unachievable?
As a fandom.
Yeah.
They build things up to where it's unachievable and they get everybody's hypes up. I really did stay away from, I mean, most of the spoilers, except for like a couple of them, like where Bryce left early from
Yeah.
Prithian. Like I knew that was coming and it was confirmed.
But
But
if your significant other was stuck and you knew they were being tortured, you would freaking haul ass to get back too.
agreed.
I mean, I
But
would haul ass back
the
to
way
get
it was
back
just
too.
handled, though.
Yes, I understand. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Lydia. I loved Lydia in this book.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna hop over.
That's fine.
I just feel like there's so much to talk about in SJM's books that this is gonna be kind of a long episode.
We could go to a part 2.
We could.
Should we end this and go to a part 2?
Or we could just keep going.
We could go. Okay, we'll just keep going.
I loved Lydia. I felt like I wish they would have touched on a little bit more of what she had done, and maybe I just don't remember. I did not do a reread before I read this book.
Lydia's not a lot in the book. In the first book,
they mentioned some of the things she's done though, and I think I'm like maybe I just like I don't know. I feel like SJM has a good. She makes you love a character and then hate a character, or hate a character and then you love them. She changes your emotions a lot.
Technically, excuse me, but technically, there is a lot of information of Lydia that we don't know about, right?
Yeah.
About any of her history, we know that she's ruthless. She's got her hounds. I mean, obviously, she's the Steries head, like, interrogator, you know what I mean? And torturer. So there's a lot that we don't know of what she's done. But in this book, we did get a lot of her...
why she did what she did.
Why she did what she did.
Did you see that coming?
I did not see the kids.
When, I can't remember, is it Deck or Flynn? Or who says something that it's just like, oh, are those your brothers?
That was Rune.
It was okay. Rune says
when he followed her after
and she goes through the classrooms and looks through the window, and she's like, "No, those are my sons." And I was like, my jaw dropped to the floor.
Yeah, you're like, wait.
I was like, what? Like, but then I like sit there and I'm like, but as a mother, like you would do it.
Agreed.
You would do anything you could just to like keep them safe.
So,
but I also feel like what's the Ocean Queen's name?
I don't know.
I can't remember her name, but like she held it over her head, so it's like.
Yeah, it was a bargaining chip in a sense, like with Nesta and Bryce. But so you didn't see that coming, so there was that, and then learning about that her heritage is from the Throne of Glass world.
It was like the smallest like little sprinkle of like, oh, here's a little Throne of Glass.
I mean, her power.
I loved it. When you find out her one son's, because they're twins, so you find out the one son's name and she calls him Brannon. I was like kicking my feet, and it was so little. And then she has Rowan's ring. Rowan's ring. The green one.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the wing. Yep.
I was like the wing. I was like,
I got excited. I meant the ring.
So it just makes it like, is she Aylin's child?
I don't know.
How long has she been alive? There's a lot of questions that we don't know that obviously will get answered later on. Is Sarah J. Maas writing another Throne of Glass book that will
because she said her next one's going to be the most emotional. So I'm like,
oh, that will be her next series. She said.
But is it going to be? Do you think it's going to? Okay, side note. Do you think it's going to be about people that have died, or do you think it's going to be? What do you think?
Which I told you about. Remember? Could you imagine if she like did a book like on all the people that I don't know. I think it'll be a new series.
Okay.
Because she said it's going to be a trilogy. I mean, ACOTAR was originally a trilogy. Crescent City right now is a trilogy.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, keep going. Well, I'll read it.
So everything has been a trilogy, and she said her next 3 books that she's thought about her next series is going to be her most emotional and her like driven one.
I don't know if this is on. Is it supposed to be green? You know, she loves to dance, so she liked a little bit more of the classical music. And then Azria liked the club music. And when she was like, well, what more would you guys like me to play? And he goes, what did he say? Something about the ones you'd play in the pleasure houses. Yep. And I was like, oh my hell, why was that so funny?
It just gives you a side to him that we don't see in the books.
So then Bryce says something about him, like, Azria, are you a club rat? And I was like, oh my hell, why is that so funny?
Yep, and it's because he is.
Yeah. But I just like loved that, and I just thought it was like interesting because she just like I feel like Bryce fit in with like their little, You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they're clique.
yeah.
They
I keep wanting to say
clique
cadre, but that's from West. In my brain, I want to say cadre, but yeah, so I just like loved that. I thought that was super interesting. So yeah, that was my favorite bonus chapter.
Yeah, the Rune and Lydia wasn't my favorite. The Bryce and Hunt wasn't my favorite.
I thought that Rune and Lydia was actually going to be my favorite going into it, but I do slightly, as a consumer, okay, I get from a marketing standpoint that it was smart to do. And thank the Lord to the girl on Instagram that put all the bonus chapters, because you know what? I read them all on her Instagram, like on her little bubbles. Yeah. And I was like, that bug kind of bugged me because, like, not everybody can buy. I mean, like, in our friend group, we were like, everybody buy, like, each one and we'll all share our bonus chapters. But it's just like, who has, like, most normal people are not going to have the money to go out and, like, buy freaking 5 or 6, was it 5?
It was 5.
5 different, like, 5 copies of the same book just for a freaking bonus chapter. I had a little, that bugged me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But I also understand, like I said, from a business and marketing point, it was smart because people didn't.
Yeah.
It was really smart.
But ranking the chapters, so obviously Amber and Randall's.
I think I like Amber. 1. Amber Randall's was my second favorite.
Then the Bryce, Nesta, and Azura was 2. I would actually say the Bryce and Danica one was my third one.
Yeah.
With getting the tattoo.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. And then I would go with the Bryce and Hunt, and then Rune and Lydia's would be my last one, unfortunately. Okay. Even though it was romantic, it was cute.
It was cute, but also at the same time, I was just like, eh.
Yeah.
But Bryson Hunt kind of made me laugh because he bought her the Jelly Jubilee that was like a pristine condition. And I love Jelly Jubilee. I still to this day, when anybody reads this book, I'm like, have you met Jelly Jubilee yet? Please tell me you met him. And then when we went to that thing,
the party,
oh my god, we were like, why didn't we all dress up as Jelly Jubilees? We should have bought the blood. Yeah. But now we know. If we ever do something like that again, we're going to show up. If there's a funny character, we're all showing up and blow up Jelly Jubilees. Like, oh, it would have been so funny. I'm like, we totally would have won. You would have got your signed poster. Oh, man. Okay, I gotta look at my notes. I brought some notes, like, what, like, after and during, like, when I was reading this. But yeah. Oh, yeah, the torture. Do you want to talk about when they were in the scary dungeons?
Still, though, like, this is another thing. It was anticlimactic.
Yeah. But also, like, at some point, like, when you're torturing somebody like that, like, you gotta kill them off. So it's like, it's time to get them out.
Like, give me the gore. I mean, yes.
That's literally shoot off Rune's hand. That's gory.
Right, but still, like,
what more did you want?
Could you, like, given me, like, some of, like, what Rune was thinking during it?
He did a little bit.
Oh, really?
Well, okay, listen.
Like I said, this book was very anticlimactic, and I'm going to stand by that. There was just...
I think I obviously enjoyed it a little bit more than Dallas, but that's okay. That's the fun part about discussing books and getting different opinions and things.
Yes. I mean, yes, it was terrible. Yeah, other weeks that tunnel.
It was so terrible, and I'm literally over here crying.
The action in this book was just very anticlimactic.
Yes.
I think the favorite action part was when Bryce, Nesta, and Azura were fighting the worm, and then when Bryce and Hunt came back from hell, and the whole thing with the king, and...
Well, because they had 2, like, skirmishes, like, before Bryce jumps in the water, because remember how they show up?
Yeah,
and then,
and then she just jumps. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I think those were the best 2 action scenes. Other than that, anything else was just so anticlimactic.
Yeah. I mean, I think Fury flew a helicopter.
She did.
That was it.
Vaccine called about some flying horses.
Oh, the Pegasus, like at the end, when he's like, hello, like there's some flying horses around, and they're like, oh my gosh, they're not extinct.
Yeah, so.
But like, I just, you know what another funny thing that kind of was, is like, Roman didn't notice his best friends were missing.
Well, he was too worried about getting some
Lydia.
Yeah, some Lydia.
But like, they were kind of gone for a minute, and I was like,
2 days.
in my brain, I was like, where's Dick and Flynn? Like,
2 days.
like, they're not just gonna give him that much. If anything, they're gonna give him shit. Like, dude, come on, like, yeah. But I did like the whole thing with them following, and that was super interesting. I did love. I thought they were gonna be down in the Ocean Queen's ship a little bit longer.
We'll see more of that in the next book, I would assume.
Probably.
100%.
Probably. I don't know. I think that's like everything I kind of had notes on and everything. I mean, I did enjoy this book. I really liked it a lot. Is it my favorite book in this series so far? I think I might like the first one the best.
Oh, hands down.
I think I like the first one the best. Like, to me, I think the first book was like a 5-star book.
I wish I could
like,
reread that one.
Yeah. Well,
for the first time.
Yeah, that also is something that I would like to do.
Not like I can reread it whenever I want.
Yes.
But for the first time again.
Yes. But we also have a lot of books on our TBR, so you know. But I don't know, like, I did enjoy this book. I liked the bonus chapters. I thought that was interesting. I think some of the bonus chapters could have just been in the book, honestly.
Agreed.
I think they should have just been in it.
Agreed with that one. So yeah, my rating is a 4.5. I did like the book, and no matter how I sound, no matter how much I sound like in this book that I didn't enjoy it, I did. I'm just going to be very opinionated about it being anticlimactic.
I get it. I think a lot of people felt that way, though.
So
I think it's honestly one of those things that, like, if you look up on any social media, it's actually an unpopular opinion to have really, like, completely loved this book 100%.
Agreed.
Which they good and bad. But that's reading. You know.
Everybody has their own opinions.
Yeah. But I love that. I think it's fun.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think that's all I have to say now.
Me too.
Yeah. High five.
Well, thank you guys if you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you want to keep on watching our chaotic adventures, subscribe, like.
Check out our TikToks.
Yeah. And just enjoy the ride.
Yep. Thanks so much.